Alright, welcome back to the Blender 3 Docwalk. This is the navigation document which will describe how to navigate through your 3D scenes. So, quick side note, my dog just had puppies, which is also part of the reason why it took me so long to get start getting back into these. But over the next several videos, if there are any puppy yelps or anything like that, I'll try to work around it, but I apologize. It just kind of is unavoidable currently. But anyway, so yeah, let's jump into this. Alright, so the first navigation capability is performing an orbit, orbiting around your scene or the item of interest, the selected item, which is, I believe, default behavior. If you go to Edit, down to Preferences, and Navigation, right here, orbit around selection. So I think that's the default behavior. I'm pretty sure. Alright, anyway, so what that means is I'm going to click my middle mouse button, hold it down, and drag. And you'll see that as I do so, I'm orbiting around the default cube. If I select my camera, I am now orbiting around the camera. So middle mouse button, click and drag. You can also perform the orbit. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Whoops. By using the keys 2, 4, 6, and 8 on your number pad, 2 and 8 are up and down. 8 is up. 2, oh, I still have the camera selected. 8 is up. 2 is down. 4 is to the left, and 6 is to the right. Now it does make mention of the 9 key. So what 9 does is it keeps you on the same kind of vertical plane that you're on. So along the z-axis, right, along the up and down z-axis, but transports you to the opposite side. So as I tap 9, you'll see that my scene rotates around the z-axis, and I end up on the other side, but still on the bottom. It's not like it's translate across the origin. It's just across the z-axis. However, let's do this. So I can, wherever I go, hit 9. Over to the other side, right? So if I'm like that, I hit 9, it's just going to take me to the other side. But if I say hit 7 to get orthographic top view, like that, let's get this back in the center again, and now I hit 9, it takes me to the bottom. So just keep that in mind. If for most instances, tapping 9 is just going to do, as I previously stated, it's going to rotate you around to the other side. But if you're in orthographic top view, tapping 9 will flip you back down to the bottom. You can be as close to, here's top view again. You can be as close to orthographic top as you can and hit 9, and it still is just going to rotate around the z-axis. The only time it flips to the bottom is if you start off in orthographic top view and then hit 9. Now, the documentation makes mention of 2 more shortcuts, Control-Alt-Wheel and Shift-Alt-Wheel. However, I've looked through the settings and I can't seem to find anything that would turn this on and off. So if you know where this might be, or why maybe this is just hasn't been updated in the document yet. But yeah, I've tried it, and Control-Alt-Wheel and Shift-Alt-Wheel doesn't appear to do anything out of the box. However, Alt and left mouse click, so holding Alt down and then left mouse and drag, does the same thing as middle mouse click and drag. Okay, so middle mouse click, hold, drag. Okay, and then there's Alt, left mouse button, click, hold, and drag. And we're going to get to pan in a second here, but because these are so closely related, pan can, in this way, also be achieved. It is Shift, Alt, left mouse button, and drag. But for that to work, I do believe you need emulate middle mouse button. Oops. Emulate middle mouse button. Yeah, right here. Emulate 3 button mouse. So that's emulate middle mouse button. Emulate 3 button mouse with the modifier, with the alt modifier. So that's if that's off, those last 2 examples will not work correctly. Oh, and just as a quick reminder, if we go up to view, all of the, well, not all of the, several of the navigation options we're going to be talking about are available in the menu, however cumbersome that might be. But yeah, just to let you know, if you want a quick reference, a reminder of what does what, you can find most of them, or not most even. Well, yeah, sure, most of them here, I guess. Okay. You can also roll your view. So by holding down Shift and tapping either 4 or 6. So 4 and 6. Okay, so that's the roll behavior. And there's one more way to accomplish this. Hold Control Alt down and then middle mouse click and drag. It does the same same operation. And it doesn't matter, whatever. Like that. Now, for panning, you can hold Shift down and middle mouse button, click and drag. So, holding Shift down, middle mouse button, clicking, holding, and dragging. And that's your pan operation. This can be accomplished a few ways. So, you can also, if you don't have a middle mouse button, or if you just like the feel of your left mouse button, my middle mouse button is kind of hard and it wears my fingers down pretty quickly if I'm using it a lot. So I like to use the alternative, which is Shift and Alt and then left mouse click and drag. Same thing. There's also a number pad analog here as well, and that is Control. Instead of Shift for 2, 4, 6, and 8, you hold down Control for 2 and 8 is 2 is down, 8 is up, and then 4 and 6, likewise, 4 is to the left and 6 is to the right. Okay, now for zooming in and out, the mouse wheel is, I think, sort of default, right? If you don't have a mouse wheel, you can do it in discrete steps with the plus and minus on your number pad. So plus obviously zooms in and minus zooms you back out. The last one is middle mouse button, click and drag with the control modifier. So holding Control down, middle mouse button, click and drag, up and down, up and down. So that there's a wherever you start. By the way, this isn't like all the way in and out. Wherever you start. So let's well, it's hard to really. Okay, I'm gonna just start here. Control, middle mouse button, click. I'm gonna go up. Okay, and then down. Now there's this point where it bounces back. Just, I don't know. Be aware of it. I never use the Control, middle mouse button, click and drag, so I don't know what's up with that, but just something to point out. Okay, so 2 pretty cool little zoom related shortcuts. If you have an object selected and you hit the period button, it zooms you all the way up to be right in front of that object, right? Likewise, if you have well, let's make it fancy and just duplicate this guy a few times. And I'm going to just select all of them and say I'm just wherever, and I just want to, jump back out and get a global view of everything that is selected. Hitting the home key on your keyboard will zoom you out far enough to where everything that you do have selected will be encompassed in your viewport. Now, if you want to specify a specific region, well, you can use the Zoom region shortcut, which is Shift B, or it's also accessible in your view menu. View, what is it? Navigation, Zoom region. Okay, so that is Shift B, and then you can click and drag and specify the area that you want to be, zoomed into. So like, I want to be zoomed into there, and voila. And last is the Dolly Zoom. If you've even spent a day or even a couple hours with Blender, if you've never used it before, most people realize pretty quickly that that if you try to zoom in too far, it just kind of see that it just sticks you. You get kind of stuck, and you can't zoom in any further. And see how that kind of like slows down and then gets you stuck. So the documentation explains it, that Blender stores a viewpoint that Blender uses for orbiting and zooming. For most purposes, it typically works pretty well, but when you're trying to really zoom in close to something, you need to move that viewpoint. So the way to do that is with the Dolly Zoom, and that is Control Shift middle mouse button. So Control Shift middle mouse button and up and down, and it takes you in and out. And this is pretty, as far as you want to go, really. So yep, so that is Dolly Zoom. And that is it for this document. I will see you guys in the next document, which is the fly walk navigation. Okay, see you soon. Thanks, bye.